We are going to be doing a masked self-portrait, and what you're going to need is a sharpened pencil and a sharpener. You're going to need your sketchbook. You're going to want to have a cutout of the shape of a football. You don't have to have it, but for me, I really like having a football cutout, and you will learn more about why I do this in this video, as well as when we get into drawing all of the features of the face. But this is really going to help you get started on drawing your eyes. So let's begin. So let's talk about portraits. We are going to be doing a self-portrait, which means it's a picture of ourself. But these days, when we're walking around, we see a lot of people, including ourselves in the mirror, wearing a mask. So we are doing a masked self-portrait. I want to show you some examples of what my elementary school students are doing. So this is a picture of a boy wearing his personalized mask, which is obviously he loves palm trees, the beach, and the sun. And when you open it, you see all of the things that say something about who he is. He's honest, he's freckly, he's outrageous, hilarious, fun, and silly. He's got braces, he's got freckles, and he's got glasses. So that's one example. Another example of a little girl with ponytails and a little rainbow with a heart popping out behind it. Her little crooked, cute smile, and some of the things that say something about her. I'm just going to show you a few of these examples. A boy who obviously loves fishing. And we have a few of those boys in our class. Okay, so he's smart, creative, athletic, funny, cool, cute. So that's the boy. And then we have another one here with little flowers all over in her hair and little ponytails. She's nice, she's artsy, kind, helpful, funny, and smart. So this is what my elementary school kids are doing, and I tried to make it a little more simple, and I tried to make it fun and kind of cartoony. But for middle school kids, we're going to try and make it a little bit more realistic, which is why we have the cutout of the football. So we are going to begin by opening up our sketchbook. Okay, and what you're going to want to do with your sketchbook is you are going to want to turn it so that it is vertical, or in portrait mode. Okay, so portrait mode is nice and tall, landscape mode or horizontal is sideways. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use 2 pages. So you can already see that I have this one folded. But these 2 pages, okay, we are going to be drawing here. So I want you to open up to your first page or any available page that you have if you've already begun drawing in your sketchbook, and you're going to open it up, okay? So you have 2 pages here. Now what you're going to do is you are going to take 1 page in your notebook. You're going to flip it back over, and you're going to take these 2 corners and you're going to connect them to the corners in the center of your sketchbook. If you have a spiral sketchbook, it's okay, you can still do it. So I'm going to take these 2 corners and I'm going to connect them to the spine of my book. I press here and then I just run my finger along the edge to make it a nice crease. So that is kind of like what my elementary school did here. Okay, so go ahead and do that. You're going to take it, I'm going to do it one more time, and you're going to take these 2 corners and you're going to match it up to the corners of the inside of the spine of your sketchbook. So I'm just going to fold it back just like this. Okay, so now we are going to begin drawing the face, and the first thing I want to start with is the eyes, which is where this little football comes into play. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to put it right in the center of my page. It's right on the fold, and that is going to be the center of my face. So what I like to do, and if you remember from elementary school days, the space between your 2 eyes is usually the same size as 1 eye. So I put my football here and I make a little mark, and I make a little mark here. Now I know where my eyes need to be drawn. So I am going to take my football and I'm going to place it here right above the fold, and I'm going to trace it. Always draw light until you get it right. Okay, so that if you need to erase, you can, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to set it right on that little mark that I made, and I'm going to outline, oops, I'm going to outline my football on this side. And save your football. We will use it again for sure. Okay, so now it's time to start drawing the eyes. And in this case, boys and girls, I am showing you a very basic way to draw the eyes. And I will open up the page just so that you can get a better idea. I'm going to show you a very basic way to draw the eyes. You can choose to draw them closed. You can choose to draw angry eyes, happy eyes, maybe winking eyes. It's all up to you. This is your self-portrait, but I'm going to show you the basics. So this football shape is now going to become what I call a lemon. So I am going to erase the two inside corners, and I'm going to add just a little dip of a bump, okay? Just like that. And I say a dip because it kind of points down a little bit. And that is your tear ducts. That's where your tears are formed. So it's kind of like the shape of a lemon, where a lemon has that little bump on one side where it was picked from the tree. So we have our basic shape of the eye, and now it's time to do the iris. So the iris is the colored part of your eye. Now, you never want to draw the entire circle. I am going to draw very lightly, almost like 2 parentheses, okay? So I'm going to do one here, and I'm going to do one here, okay? And now I am going to do the pupil. The pupil is the black dot that you see from, and I am drawing very lightly. I'm going to darken it up later, okay? And then I always like to add a little shine, a little reflection. You can add 1, you can add 2. It's up to you. You can make them in the shape of a circle like I did, or you can make them in the shape of a square or a rectangle. I am now going to add eyelids. Eyelids is what opens and closes, and we have an upper eyelid. So I'm just going to do one over here. Whatever you do to one eye, you want to do to the other eye. And boys and girls, keep in mind that your eyes do not need to look exactly the same, because they're not twins, okay? Even in real life, our eyes aren't exactly the same. So don't spend too much time trying to make them perfect. I'm going to do the bottom eyelid, which is much closer to the actual shape of the football. Okay, I'm going to do it to both sides. And eyelashes. So eyelashes, you never want to draw them straight. Think of them as kind of like upside down commas, and they go from shorter to longer. So I'm going to do my commas, upside down commas, and I'm going to keep going and going and going towards the outside edge. And then right when I get right above my pupil, I'm going to start the other direction, my commas, and they're going to get shorter as they get closer to the center of the eye. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom, but the bottom lashes are always much shorter than the top lashes. So I'm going to go towards the center of the face. And when I get right around to the middle where the pupil is, I am going to start going in the other direction. Okay, so I'm going to do that to the other side. Commas, they're going out. And right around the center where I get to the pupil, I am going to start going in the other direction, and they're going to start getting a little bit smaller. Same thing to the end or to the bottom. Right when I get to the center, I turn my direction and I go the other way. Okay, so that's my eyes for now. We're going to darken them up and we're going to shade them later. Now I'm going to do the eyebrows. And one trick, if you remember, the eyebrows are about 1 finger away from the eyelid. Not from the eye, but from the eyelid. So I make a little mark here. I also do a mark here. And I do a mark here. So these 3 marks, let me darken them up so it comes out on the camera. These 3 marks are really, really important. I'm going to do the same thing again. So you're using your finger as a measuring tool, okay? And you can even try this on your real face. And again, don't worry about trying to make your eyebrows exactly the same. They're not twins, so they even look different on your face. So now I'm just gonna lightly sketch the shape of my eyebrow. I'm gonna come up a little bit here, and then it's gonna get thinner as I get to the end, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come up, lightly sketch my eyebrows, and boys and girls, we are not going to shade it in today. Today we are just working on getting the basics down. So there it is, and you can obviously see that my eyebrows are not exactly alike, but that's okay. We're gonna work on it, and we're going to do all the finishing touches later. So basically, this is the beginning, and then we edit it later as we start working, okay? So now I'm going to come straight up, and I'm gonna do about 2 to 3 fingers from my eyebrow, 2 to 3 fingers. I'm gonna do 3. And this is our forehead. So this is where the hair is going to begin, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly go around my face and come down. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And at first I'm gonna look like I'm bald, and that's okay. Okay, so I am going to come straight down from here and go all the way to the bottom over here, and I'm gonna make a mark. So I made a mark right here down at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do, let me move this down just a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect these 2 edges to this point. Now I don't want it to be a triangle, but I do want it to get more narrow because that is our chin. So our chin is a little bit more narrow than the top of our head. So I'm going to curve it. And as I curve, I am going to connect to the bottom, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And as I'm doing this side, my eyes are moving back and forth over here to make sure that I try and make that pretty similar. Okay, and again, draw light until you get it right, and it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, so now it's time to work on our mask. If you recall, the mask here, it covers the nose and it covers the mouth. So on this part of the face, we're not going to see the nose or the mouth. We're going to see our mask, and we're going to decorate our mask however we want. But I am going to come right here to where my fold is, and I'm going to put my finger there, and I'm going to make a little mark just so I can start a little bit lower. You can start a little bit higher. Everybody wears their masks a little different, but we do want it to cover our nose and our mouth. So I'm going to go from that little mark that I made, and I'm just going to go out this way and out this way. Okay, now it's time to work on my hair. So I wear my hair differently all the time. Sometimes it's straight, sometimes it's wavy, sometimes I have it in a ponytail or a braid. So I'm going to do 2 different hairstyles, but I'm going to start here. I do usually part it on one side, so I'm just going to do a line that comes down like this, and then a line that comes like this. And you don't really see the top of my head because I have hair on top of my head. So I'm going to do the top of my hair here and the top of my hair here. Okay? I'm going to draw my top of my ear here, and the top of the ear is always right alongside the edge of your eye. And I'm going to do the other half here. Same thing here. Okay, and I am going to draw my hair coming down all the way down. Okay, I can draw some lines in it just to give it some texture. I'm going to erase the top of my head. I could have left it there for a headband. Okay, now for the neck, you go down from the pupil straight down, and then you just draw like a little bit of a line, of a curved line from the pupil straight down to a curved line. So that is pretty much done